Hi, collective. I hope you've been looking good, feeling good, smelling good, eating good, drinking good, thinking good thoughts, having a good time, sharing good energy with good people, in good places, doing good things. All right, let's see what's coming out for us today. Maybe someone's tried to present a dirty offer to you. Maybe you're moving or have moved. A dirty offer could have been coming from somebody that was marrying for money. That energy is way played out to you. You've got love on the brain. And that could be love for yourself, love for your connections, love for the people that you're meeting, love for your children, your family, your loved ones, whoever it is. Maybe this person thought that some type of threatening tactics or to make you feel like, oh, this person's never going to leave you alone. They don't have access, right? Yep, this is the inside scoop on things. This is the inside scoop. All right. Get us a little more here on this inside scoop. Ooh, we're getting the inside scoop on some people who are getting bad karma right now. I feel like I need to pick up another deck, find out what this is involving. Whoever this is revolving, whoever this is involving, they've made their world revolve around you. That's their problem. And they don't have any clarity on how to clear that up for themselves, because those were in the reverse. Even though the whole deck was, I'm taking it as it is. Yeah. They were unaware of the strength of your refinement, how well you could refine yourself from whatever that is, and that it will continue. That's what they weren't aware of. Look at that apple. Apples are very healthy. Do you guys eat the whole apple when you eat it? Like the core? Don't eat the stem, of course, but like the core and everything in it. Yeah, there's something about the healthiness. Your focus is on health in every way. All right, so what's the inside scoop on these people with this bad karma? We're going to do it one more time if nothing comes out, because I feel like we got quite a bit just from the shuffle and flip. Yeah. They thought that their divination would have some type of longevity. They didn't know that your divinity was actually what had the longevity. Wow. And you're receiving this victory right now because of your divine ways. Wow. This almost looks like weeds with a flower growing from within it. Like maybe they couldn't see how much you could see. They didn't know how much you knew. How much you were divinely guided. Okay. What else? All right. Yeah. So it took like a lot of, it took a lot of courage and strength for you to continue in the truth of things, for you to continue in that path. That's what maybe they're learning, and which is why they felt like, wow, you whatever adventure, whatever things you're broaching upon or pursuing, etc., those things have been saved for you. And just keep those over there and maybe use that deck next. But they didn't see how much courage you had, how much strength you had with respect to being able to bring yourself success. See, they weren't wise about that, but you were. You were. And that's really all that mattered. They didn't even know that you had the wisdom to clear whatever it is. And I hear like people working against you in advance. They didn't realize how much you could clear things in advance. 10 steps ahead of them. That's what I just heard. 10 steps ahead of them. They didn't see that. Wow. Ooh, yep. Well, stupid is as stupid does. Whoever this is lonely now. They made a lot of bad decisions. Tell us more here. Wow. You're not disturbed by this either. Like not one bit. You're not disturbed. That's what they're thinking they're doing. They're thinking that they're causing drama in your life. They're causing you problems, that you're, in some type of anguish. And it's kind of giving this energy where you're laughing in the face of danger because nothing nothing can come against you. You know what I mean? When you're in the upright, when you act in the upright, when you respond in the upright, nothing can disturb it. Maybe you're getting married or people are trying to disturb your marriage or your union. And this could be marriage to anything, marriage to, your business, marriage to your purpose in life, etc. People are learning this now about this cleansing and this wisdom. Tell us more. Wow. They feel as though you're prideful, They feel as though your self-esteem and your self-worth is led by your ego, but it's not. It's led by your purpose. It's led by the journey that you're on. It's led by what you're supposed to do. Whomever this is homeless or is about to be. Yeah, look at that. Maybe they even were trying to say that you were homeless and you didn't have anything, and that was going to be, the disturbance that would keep you, and then you would be prideful or something that would allow them to be able to win in this situation. Wow. Maybe they even tried to say, maybe this is coming from a third party or someone that claimed to be a third party to your union. Whomever this was couldn't disturb your connection, is what I'm getting. Couldn't become a third wheel. That's maybe where their pride and ego got in the way. Wow. They didn't realize what it was rooted in. They didn't realize what you were rooted in, where you actually, get your instruction from, is what I just heard, to persevere. They didn't think you would have the desire to persevere. Wow. They thought that you would just fall short and just be okay with third parties that would present themselves. But someone's learning they shouldn't have been so prideful. They're living and they're learning. They're experiencing that whatever training and development they had is nothing in comparison. It's almost like this person doesn't have a book bag, a book, nothing. Whatever they've learned and everything that they have essentially got them to compromise their blessings. They've compromised who they were in order to try to be something, to try to thwart you, is what I'm hearing. Trying to present you as something. Yeah. Wow. That you remain so. There's too much evidence of how calm you remain in whatever in whatever strategies they have. Maybe they were trying to do some dream magic. They're really learning about this. They're really seeing, and they're not learning about, it's not learning in a way that they know what to do next or they know how to disturb it. They're learning essentially that they can't disrupt it. They can't disrupt it by presenting any notion, projecting any type of false reality to you. You're able to see that a lot better than they are. Proletariat. I might have to go get another device so I can look up these words. We might be doing vocabulary today, collective. It may be a vocab day. Somebody's guilty. Wow. Somebody's guilty of trying to bring war to this love, because those are the things that stood out. So somebody's guilty, and people see that. People see that. Maybe there's somebody who was trying to portray this religious factor and say that, you were of the devil and stuff, but, it's funny to me. Wow. And they've realized that you've overcome whatever losses that they may have seen you go through. Like, you learned how to overcome loss by getting the lesson, by understanding the lesson in that. You understand the lesson in things. That's where your wisdom and cleansing comes. That's why you're able to overcome any loss, whether it be a loss of friendship, loss of, a tribe, loss of, anything. Your house could burn down. You know how to overcome that. They're seeing that bigger picture now. The lesson in their war has been put to an end, because that's standing out a lot for me here. They're seeing the bigger picture now. And they're seeing that you know that. Wow. Okay, I wonder what this has to do with. Because this is saying miscarried or died at birth. Maybe there's something about a miscarriage, or someone saying they had a miscarriage and they didn't. or someone not telling you that there was maybe a twin or something like that died at birth. I think I am going to need to get another device to look up some of these definitions. And let's just be clear, if anybody's saying, oh, you don't know what that word means, why would I care? Why would I care what somebody else thinks? That's your attitude too, collective. Why would I care what someone else thinks? These people maybe abused and exiled you. Yeah, it was a social exile. Wow. And you chose to just build something else. You chose to construct something else for your life. And that allowed you to become more natural, to become more human even. You learned your lessons in that, and it revealed your lover's identity to you. Whether that be a past lover, a future lover, everyone's identities has been revealed to you. Yeah. I'm getting something here from this infantry. Oh, wow. So this process of realizing this, having the wisdom, having the courage, all of these things has allowed you to decisively know and understand any armies that come against you. You're able to explore them just in maybe even first meeting. Like you can peg somebody immediately. Yeah. If they're for you, if they're not for you, like whatever these other things are, you are able to really quickly identify when someone is an allied invader. Yeah. Yeah. They don't know that. They think that whatever they're doing is welcome, or that you'll accept whatever. Someone may be becoming a widow or widower. Someone who has been seeing the bigger picture. Like I'm getting it so big. It's so in their face. Look at all these eyes here, and then this eye here on this one. Like someone is realizing that lesson, and it's coming by way possibly of someone's wife passing away, because it says widow or widower, and then wife, and then the philosophical. I'm getting someone's learning that. Someone's getting that information. Wow. That maybe even someone in their childhood told them. Or they're realizing it's because you've cleared your inner child. Yeah, you've got that lesson of peace there. That you'll have into your old age. Because whatever they were trying to do, it was supposed to take place. It was supposed to come to pass when you were younger. So if people, rejected you or cast you out, whatever, since you've been young, essentially that was supposed to keep you in the lower vibrations, keep you saying, okay, well, I don't have any money. Let me go, sell a piece of booty, let me go, all these hobbies that will be bad for you, because this card is in the, reverse essentially. But essentially, you learned through that period of time that you didn't have to sell yourself short. No shade against somebody that, doesn't see it the same way. It's just essentially the gluttony, okay, by saying, I'm going to deny that this is a sacred act, and just sell my body. They wanted you to kind of be in that. Now they're in some type of forest fire energy. Yeah, where they're struggling with their appearance and how they look. I'm getting the energy of like somebody's struggling with their appearance and how they look, but then there's also someone who struggled with their appearance and how they look at an early age and was so desired to be looking differently that they had plastic surgery done to make them more appealing, just to be in this prostitute energy. Oh, wow. And this information is being seen. Like people are saying this or talking about it. Maybe this is something that people are posting on social media. I always wonder too about those individuals who get surgery. No shade again. But if you don't like something in yourself, and then if you do have the capability and have a child, will you not like it when your child has your old eyes or your old nose? Look, will you not, enjoy the appearance of that, your child's identity? Will you try to make them change that? That's just something I, often get concerned about. Yeah, this is some young woman who has, earlier on, like while she's been young, or, when she was young, she had a lot of childhood trauma that hasn't been addressed. She hasn't healed. you know. Maybe this person was a social climber and is being exiled now and not realizing how they imprisoned themselves. Let me go get another device so I can get these definitions. All right. So I got my extra device on standby. Yeah, whoever these individuals are, because I feel like a couple different energies that have been focused on you. See all these eyes out here? Essentially, these individuals don't love anyone but themselves. You know, they try to throw it off as though it's like this asexual energy, but they really don't love anyone but themselves. That's why they were so like fast forward in this reign of terror that they thought that they were going to bring to you. But essentially, you've realized no one has any type of domination over your life. You know, they want you to feel as though you have some lesson about domesticality, but essentially, and that was supposed to oppress you. But you learned your lesson of accountability. You know, whomever this is it's even like they're heartbroken, not because they couldn't figure it out with you. They're heartbroken and facing this, ending energy because they didn't learn the lesson of accountability. Like they never held themselves accountable. And that's the difficulty. When you don't hold someone accountable, they feel like they can do whatever they want. If you don't hold someone accountable, they become the poison to you. Okay? Wow. This person thought that all of this abandonment trauma, because of what they experienced, it was going to make you feel like all you could do, this is the only thing you could do, is be there as a servant to them, that you weren't useful in any way but to clean up their poop. But essentially, that's what they've realized it turned them into. I hear somebody has like such a hump on their back of their neck. Like they have like one of those, from all the spell work they're doing, because I just saw Wicca, not saying that everyone that does, believes in those things has that, but whoever this is does. Wow. This person was really gluttonous because this is coming out twice here. And they are literally losing their mind. Maybe they did some spell work in Africa or had someone in Africa that was doing spell work for them, and they were just so addicted to this. This is causing a real problem for them. Because their abandonment trauma, whatever they were trying to put off on you for you to feel, the fact that you could heal that as a young person earlier on in your life has allowed you to completely abandon that. You abandoned trauma itself. Wow. And your aesthetic is faith. When people see you, they see a faithful person. They see a faithful person that has been enlightened during the time frame that they existed in a space. I just want to say it like that. Existed in a space with this tormentor. And the space could be just in your mental space. It could be in your actual space. And that has them now questioning authority. Something that you don't do. You understand, when to have war, when to sacrifice things, and you're not afraid of whatever it is. Like you seek the truth in all aspects. Wow. Oh, wow. Someone else has fallen ill with some type of contagious illness. Let's pull some different cards for that one. This sounds like a third energy because I'm getting someone younger, an older female, and now this third energy. And take it how it resonates. It could be someone younger that's male, someone older that's male, and then the third energy that's got this contagious illness could be a female. You know what I mean? So if you're masculine, however, take it however it resonates. All right, what's contagious? Went right to it, didn't it? It went right to it. I don't even have to ask, what's this related to? This person with this health issue. So there's a contagious illness. Woo-wee. Somebody was putting something in somebody's food too. Because this is bowl. It says food here, meeting basic needs. Essentially, this person can't even meet their own needs right now. This contagious illness that they've contracted has caused them. It's kind of given even like if someone was putting stuff in your food, they've contracted something. like where they can't even eat. It may not even be necessarily that they can't buy food or cook food. Maybe they're not healthy enough to even cook food, but they can't even meet their own basic needs right now. And you're in this energy where all of your needs are met. Sustenance is there. You're refilling your spirit. You're refilling your... Ooh, that's down there twice. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe this is someone who cheated on you or tried to cheat you out of something and make a quick exit for it. But that was a dangerous action. That whatever action they took to depart from you, to leave from you, was a dangerous action, essentially. All right, let's see if I can get... You're in this energy because you've been so loyal to yourself and to your path. Look at this. Because you've been so loyal to yourself and to your path, you're able to have this family unity. I also want to put out here because there may be some people who are getting mixed messages about their new person's family. And essentially those are messages used to try to keep you down, to try to make you think, oh, your person's people don't like you. That's not true. The people that do, and the people that don't. They want you to be afraid to celebrate with other people. It's funny because it says cake and then it says butt curvy. Something delicious. It's so funny. Maybe someone's going to receive this. And it could have been even something like they wanted you to feel caution about, gathering with other people, that it would be a slippery situation. But you've already moved past that. You're in this reward. Things are happening right now. Having your cake and eat it too. Maybe you have a butt curvy fixation. Maybe you like someone who's butt curvy, or maybe you're the butt curvy person. Like what I'm gathering is like it's delicious. Like the energy that I felt before I sat down was like, I really love it here. It's so beautiful here. This is so funny. Someone considers you a fox. I'm only saying that because I saw the fox card just now. And my great-grandmother said that about someone who was just really incredibly beautiful. And I was like, oh, I want to be a fox too. Look at this. I'm not even kidding. When I told you just now about someone's family and someone trying to mix the signals or make you feel like someone's family wouldn't accept you or doesn't accept you and doesn't want you, that's not true. There's a lot of family unity here. There's a lot of family unity because you have this strength, because you roll with the punches. You have a lot of ambition, and your ambition is protected to have this ease of movement. Your new family your new family is your soul family, and it's going to feel like a home away from home. You have aggressive protection from whatever it is that you left behind. All this undercover person, this cheater that you might have been with, this person who was a runner that was in your energy, who was always, had some type of shenanigans or something that, took a lot of risks with their body. I'm getting a lot of energy just around the physical interactions. Shaking hands even could be a physical interaction, right? Transference of energy, etc. You don't, that doesn't come easy with you, but because you're guided in that way, Yeah, because you're so receptive. You're clear. You're so receptive because you've kept your person clear. You've kept your mind clear. You've kept your heart clear of being able to be confused about any of this. That's why they're getting this bad karma right now. Wow. And I'm getting like whatever cantankerous energy, which it's like it's harsh energy that you allowed. You were reasonable, but they were cantankerous. They were a beast who allowed nothing, and they need to be controlled. They're very emotionally unstable, and they end up standing in their own way as a result of that. There's always a result to whatever actions. Like if I reach over here and I grab this, the result is me holding it, right? If you reach over there and I flick it, it's gone. It's not in the same spot. So that's the difference between what you do. That's what's made you so receptive. You accept what other people are doing, even if you disagree with it. You just don't have to take part in it. And that's what you realize too. You don't take part of anybody's shenanigans. Their karma is all left for them now. Wow. Because you know yourself and you're able to confirm that. Like anybody that knows themselves is able to communicate that to other. I'm hearing a lot about boundaries. Your boundaries can't be overstepped. And if someone overstepped, they're I'm getting annihilated and eliminated. So they're annihilated by the karma. The karma annihilates you and you eliminate them from your space. Yeah, because your boundaries are so solid. You won't let anybody cross those boundaries. It's kind of like if you don't want to be hugged, you don't reach out for the hug. You make it very clear, you know? I don't know why I'm getting that. Yeah, whatever they built this on is not solid. It needs securing. They feel like they need to build over, but they're not realizing like they need to build themselves over. You know, they keep trying to build blockages for you and then wondering why they're not solid and they're having to face it. It's painful, but it's truthful. It's the truth, you know. It's been communicated to them. You know, whatever they did was the last nail in the coffin here, you know. They keep hitting the nail on the head. What happens if you do that? Like, just think about it. You've hit a nail in the coffin and it's met, right? It's flush with the wood of the coffin. You keep hitting it, you're making the space bigger so that nail can come right back out. That's essentially what's happening. You know, and that's why these people are having to put a pin in it for later. They're just thinking about, okay, well, maybe we can work ahead. But again, wherever they think they are working towards, you're already 10 steps ahead. That was in the beginning, right? Yeah, you had this new beginning, or you're taking this new beginning, or you've started new beginnings in general, you know, from flawed situations, which is bringing that tower moment. And towers can be good and bad. It just depends on who's feeling it, who's receiving it, and what it is that they're feeling or receiving. Wow, and you're receiving this success and wealth, luck and hope. And I'm getting here too about with this reasonable but cantankerous. Like, you're reasonable with people, but you also, with respect to those boundaries, you don't play it. Like, ain't no third parties here. Not in my business dealings, not in my relationships with my children. Like, you don't allow other people to lead anything that's under your dominion, is what I'm understanding. Wow. You see your value. You know how to really seize the day and the opportunities. And you know that what goes up must come down too. That's interesting. Look, you see that you know. You be knowing. It's almost like in any type of situations where there's an illusion, there's illumination as well. And people don't think that. People think that because it's in the shadows or you are able to see in the dark is what I'm getting here. So any illusions that come out, they're immediately met by illumination. It's like, oh, okay, I see the dark. Now I see the light. I'm getting that from this moonbeam. Because essentially the moon lights your path. I used to hike a lot. And I got to the point to where I would go out before sunrise, right? So that I could take the trail up the mountain. And I got so good at it, I didn't need even, like, I'd be going and just know when to turn and not so on and so forth. But I got so good at it. People were like, how are you out there so dark? I didn't like the nighttime one because the moon would be in a different area, so it wouldn't illuminate my path. So it's like you learn that. You've learned like when not to step and when to step, etc., etc. Wow. You, as a divine feminine, you know, you stepped into your power. Or maybe if you're a masculine, you're seeing your divine feminine step into their power, and knowing that they're on the right path as well. Maybe that's something that's been illuminated to you, divine masculine. Wow, look at this. I told you them boundaries. You cast that circle. You made sure nobody could get in and penetrate anything by casting that circle for yourself. This is beautiful for you, collective. You that learned the lesson of seeing the bigger picture of things came right on out. That's why your needs are being met. That's why you have this stuff sustenance and are able to refill your spirit, and they can't disturb your peace. Look at this, 13. That's that divine feminine stepping into their power. This is beautiful. This is lovely. I love it. And then the love card is right there. Your identity is love. This is what I'm seeing here. Even though people tried to bring war to your loving energy, make you conflicted in your own heart and your mind about things, they're realizing it does nothing. It does absolutely nothing but make it more clear for you where your needs are, what needs you need to be focused on at any given time, whether it be during the sunshine, during the rain, during the moonlight, during a storm. Yeah, you're in this fresh start and new beginnings. Maybe since the last new moon, you were focused on that. Yeah. You realized what was holding you back. Look, you realized what was, like I said, that moon illuminates too, which allowed you to move forward into the sun. This is wonderful. Someone thought that you wouldn't step into your power because you would that you would hold on to the past, because this card says release the past. It's in reverse, and I'm getting that whoever this is someone that has this contagious illness, or the contagious illness has been that people get poisoned, mentally poisoned, to believe that they could stop you. Essentially, they thought that they could make you feel like change wasn't important, that you would never move into a new place, you would never move to a new position in work, you would never move on to a new relationship. But that's what they hold on to. That's a part of their contagious illness. Those are the lessons that they haven't learned, the philosophical lessons that they haven't learned, which makes them these greedy, gluttonous people. Yeah, they thought that you wouldn't free yourself. They thought that you walking in the dark like this, etc. They didn't know, maybe even your spirit animals, your guidance, whatever is leading you. They didn't know that you'd be able to tap into the mother within yourself, or the father within yourself either. Like, because you don't, and maybe there's something about too, like you loving being a parent, because there's a woman with a child here. That's what's gotten you this good wheat. Because you know that you're worthy in love. They thought that would maybe change your mind. They thought that you were going to be contagious. You were going to be open enough mentally that they could oppress you in some way, shape, or form that would allow you to think that you weren't worthy and you weren't loved. But that's not the stance that this person has. You know what I mean? Wow. You found balance in everything. Like I said, the moon and the sun. You found balance in all of that. This is great. This is great, collective. Oh, I forgot to hit. Oh, I'm hearing the Eurythmics. Sweet dreams are made of these. You're having these sweet dreams. Who am I to disagree? I traveled the world in the 7 seas. That's this energy. I've traveled the world in the 7 seas. Everybody's looking for something. And what I'm getting from this card, because I did a pre-shuffle with this one, whoever I mentioned earlier that has that bent over back or that hunched back, or that, to maybe even the way they sit while they try to watch you and get the inside scoop on you. It could just be someone's posture when they're being nosy, trying to figure things out. It's like all these hands are reaching up towards them. This person is stuck. All these people that they lied to, all these people that they manipulated, now all these hands are reaching out to tear them down. These hands don't look like they're coming in a friendly way. And they're experiencing a lot of the same feelings that they had when they were a child, because that childhood trauma stuck out. Yeah, that's why it's coming out in this page of swords energy. Wow. Because they don't have the mental agility. Like, they're emotionally unstable. They're mentally unstable. They're intellectually immature. And they act without thinking, right? Thinking that that's where they're gaining their strength. By making all these rash and hasty decisions to do whatever it is that they think they're doing. Wow. This is coming out to bite someone in the butt. Yep. When you stepped into this divine feminine energy or divine masculine energy, when you step into your power, okay, when you step into your power, it puts you in a 9 of Cups energy. And you started indulging yourself, in self-satisfying yourself in such a way that no one could do anything about it. It's kind of like, I'm sure I've said this before, but I used to take, when I would get bored, right, during my period of isolation, I found that one of the best remedies for being bored is to do something else for someone else, do for others. And so I started making food for homeless people, right? Even though I was on the verge of homelessness myself, I denied that energy and gave to others. Essentially, that's what you've been doing. You've been indulging in whatever it is. It could just be, whatever it is. This is so beautiful. I can't even describe it in words. Wow. I can't even describe you in words, Empress. I can't even describe this energy in words. that people would necessarily understand, because those are the types of individuals who get themselves caught up because they don't take that moment in time to surrender or pause or think about what direction they're taking, not realizing that they keep taking a direction to go against something that has nothing to do with them, but they feel as though, whatever they feel. That's too bad. Wow. This is the Page of Cups. This has come out. Wait a minute. Wow. This is the Page of Cups. I'm getting an energy of like you learned how to fill your own cup. You learned how to give yourself your own flowers. Flowers, flowers, flowers. You've learned how to give yourself your own flowers. Wow. So that was the Nine of Cups I was looking at. But it was giving the Page of Cups. And sometimes, we as readers, we see what we see in the cards. We don't necessarily have to have cards. If you're a good reader, if you know what you're talking about. Wow. Wow. It's because of how you're working so well within your, like, whatever you have is what you focus on. You don't have to focus on what you don't have. That's what keeps your mindset straight. You don't focus on what you don't have. You focus on the truth. What is here? Buddhist. Don't look at good and bad. It's what is right now. It's not necessarily that the situation is a good situation or a bad situation, but what is the situation and what can I either put into it or take out of it that will help with my evolvement and healing. Wow. You give yourself your own flowers and you drink your tea. That's what they're saying. You mind your business and appreciate yourself for who you are. You don't worry about like who's working with who's not working with you. None of that. None of that matters to you because you work for the divine. You don't have to worry about what anybody. Listen. You always are continuing to have a new beginning. Every day is one, right? Even in a moment, you could be sitting at a red light and somebody rear ends you. You can remove yourself from that situation, but you handle it accordingly, is what I'm hearing. You handle it accordingly. This is beautiful. SomebodyTheBomb.com. Wow. Whoever this young female is who's got this childhood trauma that they're not facing or not able to heal or whatever, this social climber that's being abandoned and exiled from this social environment. This person is having some type of awakening. Maybe they're coming, like somebody, maybe they went to go get a reading. Maybe they're watching readings and they're seeing this and they're shocked. They're shocked. They're shocked. They're shocked not just at like what you're doing, essentially how well you're sleeping, how great you're doing, but they know that they were told this. So it's one of those type of like gasps where it's like, oh dang, like you were warned. Is the energy that I'm getting here. Like you were warned. You were already told about this. Because the way the person has their hands out on the table here in this card, this person was warned about this. It's like, see back here when you were told not to go against, this loving person or this divine union or whatever it is that they went, because they were experiencing these feelings of unrequited love, which is what is a part of their childhood. Maybe their father abandoned them or was taken away from them, however it feels, but it seems essentially, but it was the right information, but they chose not to understand it, This could even be for you, Emperor, because this is on the Emperor's right here. Yeah. Kind of like, it's looking like this person back here trying to throw all these smoke signals. The Emperor's gone. The Emperor's gone. And you are in the same energy as the Empress is here. So it's a very, very heavy energy for Empress energy. Like this person has a demonic attachment and they're trying to get your attention so that they can have it contract, is what I'm hearing, contract with you. But you've already learned those lessons. Like you see the spirits of those enemies when they come into play. Wow, there's an embrace here. There's an embrace down here. And everybody's seeing this in the spiritual realm. Look, it even looks like another one here. Like the doors and the pathway is lit. Wow. To have this new beginning, to look at things from a new light. Keep hearing that light and illumination, and I knew that was coming out. Yep. So it's coming out under philosophical faith. Okay? Philosophical faith. I know what philosophical means, but I'm going to get the exact definition so that we can just be realistic about what we're talking about. Because what I'm getting here is like your faith. It's just faith. I had someone tell me that before too. I had a very affluent lady who wanted to work with me, and I was like, well, why would you choose me to work with? She was like, your faith. Your faith is so big. And this was before I realized, all of that about myself. That's interesting. Because that person's energy has been coming up in mine lately. Yeah, it's because you were so devoted. You were so devoted to the fundamental nature of knowledge. The fundamental nature of knowledge. Reality, again, that Buddhist energy. And existence. So you were so devoted to naturally living and having the wisdom, which is right under here, to focus on the reality of things and exist in that. That's what these people haven't gotten. They don't have that philosophical faith because they're still stuck in whatever it was that happened before them, maybe what someone's husband did, or, they thought you were going to be their husband or whatever. They were so gluttonous, because that's what I got from that other card. Where did it go? Let's put it back already. That Emperor card. They were so stuck in that they couldn't get that philosophical faith that they needed. They couldn't pause and surrender to maybe the sacredness of the connections that they were making. Everybody was disposable. Everybody is disposable to them. The only people that they try to hold close is the people from earlier on in their life when they had this childhood trauma. And if anybody in that experience doesn't, if they experience material loss and someone doesn't give to them, and I'm getting that for everybody out there, hair on the table, that's in the reverse, all these demons running around. But when they experience that material loss and trauma, that's when their faith dwindles. They feel like people are just supposed to give to them all the time. Look, people are always supposed to be given to them, That's where they got it confused. They thought that something was going to grow from these barren stalks, is what I was just told to say. From those barren stalks. Interesting. I'm probably going to end this out soon. Wow. This is the Temperance card. Wow. You've been so balanced. Maybe that's a mystery to people. How are you so balanced in places like this, in places where you have a need but it's not being met? How are you so balanced in that? If they would take time to have this philosophical faith, they would know. Instead, they're focusing on what you're doing instead of the lessons that they're seeing you overcome, the lessons that they're seeing you learn. They're just more curious, how did this person know this versus how do I apply this to myself? But you're a very balanced person. It's basically, all of this stuff has led to your balance. That was the hard work that you did. Again, to receive those flowers. Them flowers just sitting upon you. Wow. It's like your whole mindset, it's not necessarily the mindset, but the fact that you're just cloaked in this mindset of how to make things work. Because that's a lot of pentacles. It's probably 8 on this person's hat. And maybe people thought it was what was like what you wear or your ability to make money that was making you appear a certain way. And so they felt like stripping it from you, stripping, the relationships, the friendships, whatever it is, that would change anything. But that's the hat you were chosen to wear. So they can't strip you of nothing in that instance. Yeah. They're burdened by this. This is their own burden to bear, essentially. Where that laugh came from, but it came from the heart. Laughing at these clowns. They never saw this bigger picture. I just want you to understand. I need to turn this. This card came out and it's set up straight. Let's see if I can turn this a little bit. Look at this. This card right here, set up straight right here. This is, and the deck that it fell on, that's the last deck I'm gonna use. They thought that maybe even you would give up. You wouldn't be balanced enough to have an emotional connection that was valid and divine, and would bring about such great things. That was their plot. That was their plan. But what I'm hearing is that their tongues are being cut off for even thinking or speaking something so illegitimate. Wow. So illegitimate. Look at this. There's 2 snakes over here. 3. The 3 energies out here. But guess who has this? Guess who has this? What is that called? Sorry, words. Machete. There we go. You had a machete for every single one of them. If they wanted to put you in this young energy, try to present you as someone who didn't have enough, who didn't know enough, it's just the fact that you kept it to yourself is what I'm getting here. You hold these connections sacred. You hold every connection that you make as sacred in its own space. It could be sacred for the benefit of doing good business, sacred for the benefit of having a good friend, sacred for the benefit of having a good, parenting relationship of your child, sacred for having a good relationship with your person. Wow. Oh, I said I was going to use this deck again. And then we'll end it out here. Yep. And the reason that you understand how to have balance and how to keep things under wraps is because there's people always watching you, waiting for you to slip on a banana and fall on your head, right? And you've realized that whatever issues they thought you had, they didn't know that it wasn't what it appeared from the outside. It was never what it appeared from the outside, because it was all inner work. It was all inner child work. It was all inner work that you needed to do, that they need to do now. Yeah, whoever this is, that you identify as this energy, this whole energy, you knew it was a red flag. That's why you took off. You knew that this person was sneaky, had hidden agendas, or was a cheater. They keep it on the down low. Maybe they're on the down low. Maybe that's how they contracted some type of illness. You knew that all those secrets and the way that they got down was going to bring a lot of bad karma. And the person that they wanted you to think that was a green-eyed monster is actually friendly and harmless. You see a lot of green flags yet. You see a lot of green flags with this person. Even if you can't grasp it fully yet, why I see so many green flags here, you have to see the difference between good and bad. Maybe that's what all this, inside scoop has brought you to see. Whereas the point that you can't fake it, that you see this. It's like you see the red flag and you see the green. You know the difference. That's reminding me of this red flag guy who reposts these videos on YouTube, and I think he's the red flag guy, and he'll just pull out this red flag, and you see it. You see all these hidden agendas, anything anybody tries to do. Wow. Maybe for divine masculine or even divine feminine, you're realizing how to embody that full feminine energy. This is the second couple that's come out now towards the end. And realize that in this femininity that I'm getting from the fashion, that you guys match each other's fly. How much you guys match each other's fly. How much you keep each other on your toes. One day you could come in and the person be in sweats, the next day they're in a suit, the next day they're in lingerie, or some nice boxers, or, workout outfit. It's just every day. Maybe that's something you look forward to or you're excited about because you see that by sharing a shelter with them, sharing a home with them. And it brings you a lot of prestige. You feel that in each other's energy, because I'm getting here. That's the huge difference between the red flag and the green flag. That's why there's so much power in this new divine relationship and new divine connections. That's why there's this protection of it. That's why it brings you all this prosperity. Wow, and prestige. And as a feminine energy, you've realized that you have a need for the protection that this person gives. You're not, confused about why you want this person. And it's, again, fashion, all I said was match and fly. Not necessarily that someone has to buy expensive gifts. Shelter, it just means that you share a place. It could be an office. You know what I mean? Whatever it is, if this is a business connection, but I'm not getting that. It's heavy love here. Royalty. Wow. I almost missed that. And maybe that's something that was almost missed too. That only a royal energy could be such a green flag. Only a true royal energy could illuminate the way it does. By the light of the silvery moon. It is what it is. This is beautiful. Congratulations. Congratulations. Because all these other people back here, they're burning their books. They feel like everything that they've learned, everything that they were trying, everything that they've tried, essentially has got them burning their books because they feel like they weren't successful in whatever they were trying. Maybe there's someone who's a performer or I was going to say magician, so maybe there's someone who was doing magic, but who's a musician that was trying to be in this energy and get you to conform to accepting, torture as your fate, or not having these relationships. But what they didn't count on was, I'm getting from extraterrestrial, I'm getting a telepathic connection. That's the close encounter, the telepathic connection, to be able to tap into another person. When I was doing readings at the mystical store that I was in LA, I was telling the guy how he had so much knowledge on like the sacredness of the body, even though he didn't really, he manipulated those things. But I was like, I wish I could take all the knowledge that you have in your head and put it into mine. I wish you could do a brain dump. And he said you can. When you share the same vibration with someone, that's what that is. That's why this person feels this green energy with you. Even if they couldn't grasp it, even if they couldn't figure it out. That's why they felt, this love, because it's not met with bad intentions. This is somebody who, if they're lighting a candle, they're lighting a candle for your best good, your highest good, even if it doesn't include them. They just want, any connections for everybody to be fulfilled in them. Any good connections, I should say, or any connections that give green flags. Let's just say that. This is awesome. I hope that this has been helpful and insightful in some way, shape, or form, and I'll catch you on the next one. Later.